In a universe shrouded in mystery, where the stars are our only companions, a journey awaits that will push the boundaries of knowledge. Prepare yourself for something that will redefine our understanding of technology, unveil the secrets of the cosmos, and witness the marriage of human ingenuity and artificial intelligence. We bring you the flagship event of IEEE SISGST, the Galaxy of Intelligence, Epsilon. A triad of scholarly symposium days guided by the wisdom of global pioneers and visionary minds. An event designed for everyone to gain knowledge and cultivate interest and curiosity. In this edition, we give you Nero AI. Nero AI is the concept of brainstorming events that have a significant impact on AI technology, with humans like us, you, and me. We're not different, we are the same, with faraway souls.
A very good morning and a warm welcome to everyone present here. We welcome you to the third edition of Epsilon. I'm Alisha Fatima, WIE head at IEEE SISGST. Yesterday we commenced Epsilon 2023 with a very intriguing session of WIE on the inner workings of AI generated personalities.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, Yash Indulkar. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, Yash Indulkar, Joint Secretary at IEEE SISGS. We are thrilled to welcome you to the second day of Epsilon under the WIE track, the Creation AI Generative. Today, we are not just here to listen. We are here to roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty with creativity.
You are correct, Yash. Today, we are going in depth into the fascinating world where creativity and artificial intelligence collide. And who better than a speaker to lead us on this thrilling journey?
Absolutely. Lori Mazor, a trailblazer at the nexus of artificial intelligence and creativity, will be our speaker today. She is a visionary as well as a leader.
As the CEO of Synthetivity, Lori Mazor has been at the forefront of revolutionary advancement in generative AI.
And that's not the end of it. Lori has a wide range of abilities to offer. She has a background in architecture and an MBA from NYU Stern School of Business, giving her a dissenting viewpoint that could change how we view AI.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. So without further addition, let's extend a hearty welcome to the trailblazing visionary, Lori Mazor.
I appreciate Lori being here with us today. We are incredibly grateful for you to be here, sharing your knowledge as well as experience with us. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
So
Okay,
before
so
we delve
before
into
we dive,
today's session, it's important to ensure to have access of something AI tools. You can check that on a OpenAI, Midjourney, DID, or something Synthesis.
visit their websites to discover any available free trial options and take a moment to explore what each of these platforms has to offer. These sources can be valuable assets during our session, enhancing our learning experience. So get ready to harness the potential of AI in a learning journey.
The stage is over to you, ma'am. It's all yours.
Thank you, Yash and Alicia. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I am really excited to show you some of the things that I have learned over the past year as I have really dived in deep in generative AI. And I will tell you that no one is an expert in this field. It is so new that we are all on the same learning journey. So I might be a few months ahead of you, but we're all here to create together. I'm going to show you 3 or 4 different tools as we go through our journey together today. And we're going to be focusing on making a character that we can then bring into a video platform to have them move and also to have them speak. And we'll try out in the end, seeing if we can get them to speak in both English and in Hindi. Because one of the great possibilities here is that we can also begin to communicate with the entire world in ways that we've never been able to do before. So, are you ready to get started?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
For sure.
Wonderful. I'm going to share my screen now. And we're going to start with Midjourney, which is an image generation application. And in Midjourney, we're going to start by creating a character. So while you are sitting wherever you are, I would love for you to just take a few minutes. You can type it on a computer, you can write it down on a sheet of paper. I'd love for you to come up with an idea of a character, someone that you can visualize. And I want you to practice describing them in as much detail as you possibly can. You want to try and describe all of their different features. So, what color eyes do they have? What kind of emotion are they feeling? What's the shape of their face? Are they wearing glasses or not? Do they have a particular style? So, take a few minutes and write down some words. I'm going to do the same thing, and we're going to come back in 2 minutes and start prompting in Midjourney. And this is an exercise that I ask all of my students to do, no matter how young or how old they are. Visual communication is really one of the skills that we need to learn. It used to be that we sketched with pencil and paper, but now we sketch with language. So the greatest tool that you have at your disposal right now is your ability to be facile with language. Wonderful. Now, we're going to start with prompting in Midjourney. For those of you who have not done this before, Midjourney is a bot that is available on the Discord server. The hardest part about getting to work with Midjourney is actually signing up for Discord. And many of you may already have a Discord account, so you are already well ahead. When we work with Midjourney, we work in a server, and I have a server going now that's called Leaders of AI. This is where I do all of my teaching. So it's a private server to me, but every image that I generate will be accessible to anybody who is working in the Midjourney platform. And that's a little bit different than how we've ever created art before, because it's a collaborative process. Other people can see your prompts and you can see theirs. So part of what we do is we work off of each other's work, and we work in a very collaborative fashion. Now, a prompt in Midjourney always starts with / and the command imagine. You need to wait for the prompt button to come up before you can type in any words. And I'm going to start by just coming up with around 12 words. You can come up with short prompts, 1 or 2 words. You can write very lengthy prompts. But I've found that 12 words is just about the right amount for the computer to be able to process. And part of that is because what we're working with, I call a chaos machine. We basically are summoning ideas that have been coded with computer vision of what a face looks like, what a dog looks like, what a street might look like. And when we do that, we bring in the chaos, the noise that these images have been trained on, and we narrow that field of noise so that we start to get pixel by pixel a single image. And that's the generative part of the process. So today, since we are working with women in engineering, I am going to start prompting for a woman who is an engineer, a college student, and we're going to start giving her a personality. So I'm going to say a young Indian college engineering student wearing a band t-shirt, street style. Now, I'm going to just leave this with no aspect ratio specified. You can specify an aspect ratio by using --AR, but if you don't give an aspect ratio, your images will always come up square. And after you've made a square image, you can always expand it and change the dimensions. So it's a good place to start. Now I forgot a very important word, female. Now, this brings up a very good point, which is I said a young Indian college engineering student, and it made the assumption that our engineering student was male. And that's because the systems are quite biased. They're biased because humans have been biased, and they're only drawing upon the patterns that we've trained them on. And as you know, it's been very traditional for men to go into fields of engineering and not women. So we need to overcome that bias by being specific. So this time I'm going to cut my prompt and I'm going to try again, always using the imagine. I can just cut and paste the way that I would do with any other Microsoft Word or Google Doc. And I'm going to make sure that I say female. And let's see what we get. Now, on this image that I made, you can see that there are U's and V's. U's allow us to upscale an image, make it bigger. So if I pick this one, number 3, the images go from left 1, 2, 3, 4. If I pick image number 3 and I upscale it, you'll see that it will come up. It will take a little bit of time to process, but I get a large image. And if I wanted to, I can click on that image. I can use my right click and I can copy the image or save the image, or I can even copy the image address. That's something that we might want to do and save for later if we ever want to use the image as a prompt. But if we want to use the image as a JPEG file, we're just going to save the image as. And I'm just going to save this as male engineer. I like to save things on my desktop just so that I have them easily accessible, and then I'll file them later. Now, we have some young female Indian college engineering students, and they're all looking pretty good to me. I like this one on the top left-hand corner because I feel like I got a good beginning of a band t-shirt, and she is wearing some jeans. So now I can start to build out her body. I'm going to upscale it the way that I did before. And I'm also going to run some variations. The V's here stand for variations, and it's the same 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I want to see variations, I click on V. I could modify my prompt a little bit. And so I could say a short-haired. And we'll see what comes up. But now that I have this image, I'm going to start building the body out. And I'm going to do this using these pan commands. Now, I want to explain what the menu is before we go any further. I can very strong will change the image quite a bit. Very subtle will change the image just a little bit. Very region will let me go in and change a specific area of the image. And then I can also zoom out 2 times, zoom out 1.5 times, or do a custom zoom. And if I do a custom zoom, I can give it specific instructions for what I want to be in the zoomed out area. So let's start with pan. You can pan left or right, up or down, but in order to build a body, I want to move downwards. So I'm going to click on the down. And now this prompt is going to describe what comes in the next image. So I want to make sure that I am focused on making sure that I'm describing the pants. And I want her to be wearing t-shirt and jeans. I'm going to keep the street style, so I keep the background the same, and I'm going to submit. Now, while it's running, and I can run about 3 prompts at the same time, I'm also going to try varying a region. Now, vary region will pull up a bigger image, and it will give me the option of either picking a square area or picking a lasso area. So I'm going to start with a square, and I'm just going to pick the front of the shirt. And I'm going to see if I can get, and I can just erase everything in that prompt. And I want to have a picture of, let's say, Pokemon t-shirt. Okay, now remember we changed in one of our variations to short hair, and you see that we have basically the same image, but we got someone with shorter hair. These are our images that we did when we were expanding the body down. So we are definitely getting some jeans, all different color jeans, because we weren't specific about whether they were faded or ripped. And I kind of like the ripped jeans, so I'm going to go with version 3. Though it seems like she has like some kind of a funny belt on her waist. So I might try version 2. And you know what? If I'm not happy with any of them, I can always rerun the prompt here using the rerun. Okay. Now, when I rerun the prompt, it will give me the option to remix it, or I can just submit it exactly as I originally had it. Okay, so you can see here, we actually got a bunch of different kinds of shirts. This one probably looks the closest to a Pokemon, so I'm going to upscale number 3. And here we are with our jeans. Now, if I want to keep building the body out, I then am just going to keep going with that pan. So I'm now going to scroll down again, and I'm going to read my prompt and see if I need to make any modifications. Since the band t-shirt is already in the picture, I don't need that anymore. So I'm just going to say wearing jeans. And I'll scroll down and see how our Pokemon image is. Now, if I wanted to do the same thing here and pan down, I can do that, but you'll see that when I pull up the prompt, I only get the prompt for the t-shirt because I had done a region change. So what I want to do is I want to go back up to my original prompt. I'm just going to cut and paste this language here. I'm going to scroll back down. I'm going to click on pan. I'm going to paste my old image in there. I don't need 4 a.m. there. A young female Indian college engineering student wearing a band t-shirt and jeans. Perfect. Okay, now we almost have a full body. Let's just see if we can get the shoes. So I'm going to pick this one here and upscale 2. And you can see we're getting our jeans now. And you'll notice that in the background, there's a motorcycle. And I didn't say anything about a motorcycle. I just said street style, but it's starting to extrapolate and make assumptions about what kind of an environment this girl might be in or not. And has her on the street and has her near a motorcycle. So I can decide whether or not I like that background. If I want to change it up, I can always go in, just like we did with the t-shirt, and change a region. So I'm going to keep working with our Pokemon image to see if we can get her as a full body as well. I'm going to try again for those ripped jeans, upscaling 3. And just remember, every time you do this, you always will get 4 images. You'll have to upscale it, and then you can do your pan. All right, looking pretty good. So I can pan down again. And again, I don't need the t-shirt anymore, so I'm just going to say wearing jeans. And I'll do one more so we can try and see if we can get some shoes. And when we do that, then I'm going to get rid of all of my text here, and I'm just going to describe the shoes. And I'm going to say black boots. All right, and look, we got some shoes already here. So we've been at this for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and we already have 2 people with full bodies, and we are ready to go. Now, before I move on into our other applications, I want to show you a few more things in Midjourney that are really cool. Now, you can see here our shoes kind of got disembodied. So that prompt didn't work so well. I think that I might try keeping more of the rest of the prompt and just adding the shoes on. So let's see. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to try that pan down again. I'm going to keep the wearing jeans, and I'm going to say, and black boots. And I'll see if that works better. And, you know, one of the things that I tell all of my students is that this is unpredictable. So in some ways, you can control your language, and you can control what image you choose. You can control whether you upscale it. You can control whether you zoom in. You can control your settings, but you can't control exactly what's going to come out. So it's very different from any other application you might have used, like Photoshop, where you have a lot more control. But the joy in that is that there's so much possibility to be surprised by things that you never expected. And that's one of the reasons why I like designing with these tools as opposed to things that are more traditional. Okay. Okay, so we have a few images here, and I'm going to pick the one with the light shoes. We'll upscale number 3. Our black boots turned out really funny, so I'm just going to let that go. But when we did prompt it with her wearing black boots, I think we got something that looks a little bit better. If the images are hard for you to see, you can always click on them and blow them up a bit. Yeah, I think this was what I was thinking. So I'm going to pick number 4 as well. And so we almost have 2 images. Now, if you want to turn your images into a video, you're going to want to have a little bit more of a streetscape. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make my image square. And that will just build out some of the background. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. We'll make that square. Okay, and you can see here, this is what's happening as it's making it square. You can see this is the boundary of the original image. It's going to keep that part always the same, and it's just going to build out the scene to the left and to the right. And I will get 4 choices. So as soon as it's done, I'm going to look at my options, and there will be subtle differences between them. And so let's see here. In these images, I kind of like that bicycle. So I'm going to scroll down. Yeah, I like being able to see the whole wheel of the motorcycle. So I'm going to pick number 3. And then I also, let's go back here. And it's funny because this motorcycle is totally different than the one that we just saw. I think this one here looks the most recognizable to me. I may actually end up getting rid of the motorcycle altogether in this one though. So we'll scale this one up. And so if I wanted to get rid of the motorcycle, again, I'm just going to use that very region. I will select it, and this time I'm going to use the lasso because it's a little bit more of an organic shape. And I also want to be able to, I don't have to be exact. So again, it's not like Photoshop where you really have to be precise. I'm just going to get pretty close to where we are. And I'm just going to say background. It's a vague word. It will give it the ability to maybe think and invent something different, but not necessarily a motorcycle. And then while it's doing that, I'm going to upscale this image. I like this a lot. I love this bike. I like the black shoes. She's got the t-shirt. So let's go with that. So in order to save that, I'm going to save my image. And I'm going to call this female engineer with bike. Now, I'm also going to save the image address. And the reason I'm going to do that is that there's another little trick that I'll show you. We may not use this today, but just so you know, I want you to have the skills to be able to include a seed image. And the way that you seed an image is you just cut and paste the link to the image. But afterwards, you can turn that image into anything. So now I'm going to use the same words, a young female Indian college engineering student wearing a suit presenting at a meeting indoors. And again, it's a bit of a wild card. I have an idea in my mind of what I might get with this image, but you never know. So, let's go back and see what happened when I asked for background. So you see what happened? It turned the motorcycle into a car. And I think this one actually looks kind of interesting. There's a strange little, almost like a person there that looks weird. So this one looks a little bit cleaner. So for the purposes of our class today, I'm going to upscale 3. Now, you could keep going on this for a really long time, as you can see. You could take people out, you can add in plants, you can change the background, you can change pretty much everything in the image. And there's also another little trick you can do. If I wanted to put my face on this woman, what I can do is save the image. And I'm going to say female Pokemon with car. Okay. Now I have another app loaded up here. It's called oh no, I think that I might not have it here. Let's see. Oh no, not today. All right. Well, after class, I will send you a link so you can get the face swap app, but you can swap your own face onto any image. So if you want to do self-portraiture, one of the things you can do is you can generate your entire body, and then you can go back and work on the face. So I'm going to go back to our general gallery. All right, so I've saved both of my images, and now I'm ready to go into video. And just before we go, now you see, I prompted that same image. I said, young female Indian college engineering student wearing a suit presenting at a meeting indoors. All right, so let's see what happened here. We got our college student now wearing a blazer, so that looks more like a presentation outfit. Still with long hair, still female, but these still look like they're outdoor scenes. So that's what I mean when I say you can control some things and you can't control other things. A lot of it is trial and error and experimentation. Now, if I did see one of these images, and this one I think looks kind of interesting, again, I could totally get rid of the background and type in a different background. But I would love to now move into generating some videos with these. So I'm going to now switch applications, and I'm going to show you how to use Runway. And Runway is a video generation tool. Now, Runway has 2 versions, Gen 1 and Gen 2. Gen 1 you can type anything and you can generate a video just from language the same way that you would if you were working in Midjourney. But Gen 2 allows you to bring an image in and then to animate that image. And that's what I think is most interesting. So I'm going to bring my character in. I'm going to start with an image here. I'm going to upload a file, and I'm going to pick my female engineer with a bike. Okay, now these videos only generate in 4 seconds at a time. You can extend 4 more seconds and then keep going. So you can start to create some longer videos, but they are not as photorealistic as the image generators. So this is a technology that's just come out and is very, very new. So I would not set your expectations high in terms of like actually getting characters to move photorealistic in space. However, this is exactly where Midjourney was a year ago. So we can imagine that a year from now, these are almost going to be film ready to go. Now, this has got a lot of different possibilities. Number one is there are advanced camera controls, which are now in beta. So this is a new feature that just came out within the past couple of weeks. You can have the camera pan horizontally, you can have it pan vertically, you can have it zoom out or in, or you can have it roll. And you can also change the speed. I'm going to keep my speed at 5. 5 is about midway. You can go from 0 to 10. And this time I'm going to do a horizontal. So let's see what happens if we move to the right. And then I generate my 4-second image. And it will take probably about 30 to 60 seconds. Now, if you want to string a bunch of images together, there's also an application that allows you to do interpolation. And so you can string maybe 3 or 4 images together and you can watch them morph from one to the other. Very artistic. If that's a style that you're interested in, I will show you how to do that as well. But there are a lot of different possibilities with these tools. They also have things like background remover and more sophisticated video editing tools. But this is just the basics. So our video is still generating. And while it is, I am going to just pop over back into Discord. And I'm going to show you how we can do an aspect ratio in case you wanted to make a wider image. We'll let this run while we switch over. Okay. So now we are back, and here I can use the zoom out 2 times. So this can be fun if you want to create images that zoom in and out. And then again, you can do a custom zoom. And here I then can describe the scene. So maybe I want there to be a historic arch. Maybe you're like looking through the portal of an old building into this street scene. So you see, this is the zoom out 2 times, and it just starts creating more of the street scene. But if we change it with our custom zoom, you can see how it's starting to draw this arch, right? So it's like putting that street scene now into a different context. Really interesting. And you'll notice that Midjourney does not do text so well. So if you really do want to do something with typography, there are other applications that do typography better. Midjourney, it just doesn't understand the construction of words. But again, could be that within the next year that changes as well. All right, very good. So that's basically what you do if you want to zoom out. If I wanted to generate the image, and I'm going to go back to my original prompt here. If I want to have an aspect ratio that's different, when I start the prompt, I can say --AR. And if I want it to be good for a presentation, like if you were making a PowerPoint presentation or Google Slides, 16:9 is your screen size. So it will change the aspect ratio. But when you change the aspect ratio, it also will change the structure of the drawing, because Midjourney has in its algorithm a bias in a good way towards aesthetics. And so it really thinks about the composition of that image, and it structures it in a different way depending on what the aspect ratio is. So you can start to see here that the person is like totally different, right? We had the same language, the same prompt. The only thing we changed was the aspect ratio. But you can see that like so many things changed about the image. So if you want to keep the same exact person, but you just want to change the aspect ratio, that's when you're going to pan left and right. If you want to just start from scratch, you can always start with an aspect ratio, knowing that it's going to consider that in your composition. All right, so I'm going to go back to our video and see how our video is generating. And let me see if I can get, yeah, let me get our entire screen there. Okay, so let's see. All right, our video is done. Let's take a look. All right, so it seems like it's kind of like flashing back and forth between two different positions of that image. Let's try something different. Let's see what happens. And it will save everything. And again, you could keep extending this forward, or you can start all over again. I'm going to start over again. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to start with an image. I'm going to upload that file. I'm going to pick our Pokemon car this time. Now you can add a description afterwards. I'm not doing that now because I found that it changes the image more than I would like, but you can test that out as well. And I'm going to go to my advanced camera controls again, and I'm going to do a zoom in. And let's see what happens there. Okay, so while that's processing, I want to show you a few other tools. So now I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I want to show you DID. Now, DID is great if you want to have a speaking avatar and create a video in a very short period of time. You can use those videos then in any kind of presentation tools. They basically just create MP4s, and then you bring them over into whatever video tool you're using. So in order to do that, we want to have a square portrait style image. So I'm going to go back to Discord, and I'm going to save one of the early portraits that we made. So before we started building out her body, just that headshot, because that headshot is going to be perfect when we're talking about having a speaking avatar. And I may even want to zoom in even closer here. So I'm going to make sure I save this image. Again, I click on the image, right click, save image as, and I'm going to say headshot band t-shirt. Okay, great. So I just need one image for moving into DID. All right, let's see how our video is going. We're about halfway there. So I'll come back to this video a little bit later. I'm going to show you DID now. And I'm just switching to my main screen so that I can make sure that you can hear the video. If you can't hear the video when I play it, let me know, okay? All right, and yep, we are good. Okay, so this is DID, and these are all videos that either I or my students have made. And so you can create a video just by clicking here, create video, or up on the right-hand corner, create video. You will have a choice, and a lot of these are characters that we've made over the year. But you have a choice of avatars that have already been videoed and created, and some of these avatars have hands and are a little bit more three-dimensional and can move their whole bodies instead of just their faces. So I'm going to start with one that is one of the pre-selected characters, and then we'll do one as well with one of the characters that we have generated using Midjourney. You also can generate your own presenter here. And just so you know, the backend technology is DALL-E, which is OpenAI's version of image generation. And just this week has become available on ChatGPT. They have started rolling it out to users. So some users may have it, some users may not be for another week or so, but you will be able to have image generation right in ChatGPT, which is pretty cool. So right now we're going to work with the character that's already been created, and we basically can write a script. Now, the script that we're going to write, we can start writing here. So I want to say, hello, friends. I am here to teach you how to create a speaking avatar using DID. Now, if I click on this little magic button, it will continue my text using AI. So let's see what kind of a story it makes up. Okay, this can be a very simple process that can be done using the DID software. Okay, that sounds truthful. First, you will need to create an account on the DID website. Well, that's very factual. And once you have created your account, you will need to download the DID software. Well, sometimes, but you also can access it on the web. So I might make a change there. You can access it on the web. Once you have downloaded the software, you will need to open it and click the avatars button. Well, that's not really true. And you'll see that it kind of understands, but it's making things up. And we call this hallucination. Now, the reason that it's making things up is it only has training data up to 2021. And again, the back end of this system is OpenAI's ChatGPT. So this API from OpenAI has been brought in by the DID developer in order to facilitate text generation. And we know that data is stopping at September 2021. So it may not know enough about DID. And so it's making things up, almost as if it's like a 5-year-old child making up a story. It's basing it on what it knows. But when it doesn't know something, instead of saying it doesn't know, it just creates or imagines. So when we're using this for work, we really need to be careful to make sure that we're editing it, looking, correcting. So you see, that's what I'm doing as I'm going through the script. So once you've downloaded the software, you will need to open it and click on the Generate Video or Create Video. Cool. Once you click on the Create Video button, you will be able to see a list of available avatars. That is true. That's just what we went through. Select the avatar that you want to use and click Create Avatar button. And you will now be prompted to enter some basic information about the avatar. That's not true. We're going to get rid of that. So I might need to fill in some information here. I think for the point of our conversation, I am just going to cut this down so that it's pretty short and we can generate it really fast. But you get the gist. You can use the AI to help you. You can go with your own language. You can do a little bit of a combination of both. I would highly recommend the combination of both. Sometimes it's good to just get a spark from the AI to get started. And then it really helped me to think about what the process is so I could explain it better. All right, so now we are going to pick a voice. Now, you can pick the language in English and many different accents of English. So I could pick English with an India accent, or you can pick a foreign language. And here, for example, I could have them speaking Finnish, but I've written my script in English. So the most important thing is to align the language of your script with the language of the character speaking. So I'm going to go back to English, India, and there are different voices. So I have a male voice and a female voice. Since our character is male, I'm going to go with Prabhat. And the styles, sometimes there will be styles. Sometimes they will have the ability to be sad or angry or moody or joyful or excited. This one does not. So now I'm just going to listen to it. And as I'm listening, I'm going to also read.
Hello friends, I am here to teach you how to create a speaking avatar using DID.
Okay, now it sounds a little bit mechanical, and it will. I mean, this is as sophisticated as the voice technology is. Also sounds a little bit older than I think this person looks. But I also could say, maybe they are, maybe they live in England. And so we can give them a UK accent and we can go, oh, here we have a lot more choices. So let's try Ryan.
Hello friends, I am here to teach you how to create a speaking avatar using DID.
That sounds like a voice that goes with that face a little bit better. So I'm going to have Ryan be our speaker and I'm going to listen to it, and I can listen and make sure that all the words are pronounced right.
Hello friends, I am here to teach you how to create a speaking avatar using DID. This is a very simple process that can be done using the DID software. First, you will need to create an account on the DID website. Once you have created your account, you will need to download the DID software or you can access it on the web. Once you have downloaded the software, you will need to open it and click on the Create Video tool. Once you have clicked on the Create Video button, you will be able to see a list of available avatars. Select the avatar that you want to use and click on the Create Avatar button. Thank you for learning how to create a speaking avatar using DID.
Great. So that was actually pretty good. If I wanted there to be some pauses, so maybe after hello friends, I want him to take a little bit more of a pause. I can always add a 5-second break anywhere in the script. So now I'm going to generate my video. And again, that'll take a few minutes. And you'll see that each video, you are charged by credits. So this is going to take about 3 credits to make. I pay for an account and I have about 80 credits. You can get a fairly inexpensive account for about $10 a month. Or if you're using it a lot, then you obviously will pay a lot more. But they do have a free trial, so I would highly recommend you do the free trial first, and then if you like it, then you can talk about whether it's worth investing in. Now, I want to make sure that everybody, and yes, I see people are asking questions here in the chat. So while it's generating, I'm just going to pause and see if I can answer any questions. What is the limit of upscaling? So when you upscale images in Midjourney, they are pretty good for print quality on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, a letter size sheet of paper. I've done a book cover and it printed very well. You also can specify exactly the number of DPI. And I have seen people scale images up even larger. So right now, I think give it a little bit of a trial if you want to make something that's bigger than something that you would print in a book. And the question is, can we use Midjourney's free version? So unfortunately, no. They used to have a free version of Midjourney, and they eliminated it after about 6 months or so. So for Midjourney, you do have to pay about $10 a month in order to do a trial. And you can do a 1-month trial. And then if you decide that you don't want to use it anymore, you don't need to pay anything more than the $10. Are there any other questions while we're waiting for videos? And could everybody hear the DID video? Okay. I see a question about ethical considerations when developing virtual personas. It's a very, very good question. And right now, there is a major strike that has been going on with both the writers and the Screen Actors Guild in the United States. And this is all about copyright and the ability to take someone's identity and make them virtual. So all of the avatars that you're seeing, the humans here, that these like images where people look human, those were all generated from actors who were paid to have their likeness used. But when we're generating images with Midjourney, those are coming from images that may have had a copyright and were used to train the models. And this is, as you can imagine, SAG-AFTRA is the Screen Actors Guild. They may have come to a resolution, but we haven't yet heard exactly what the resolution is yet. And the writers are still on strike. So these are very, very complicated ethical issues. And actually, different countries have taken different positions on them. So with all of these models, they were trained using images that were scraped off the internet. Some of those images were copyright protected. And the companies that did this didn't ask permission. So there are lawsuits from both artists as well as big image companies like Getty Images, because they weren't paid for rights for the training data. Now, in the United States, we take that very seriously because we have a lot of individualism and copyright protections. But Japan has taken a very different perspective. In Japan, they have said that they will not enforce copyright in training data. And the justification is what we call fair use. So for educational purposes, we are able to use songs or written materials to a certain extent for the purposes of educating. So in Japan, they've kind of taken that and said, okay, we're educating the models. They're not directly copying. And also, this is going to be good for our economy. So these are, very complicated ethical questions, and you're going to see different countries, different regions of the world coming down on this issue in a very different way. If you're interested in reading more about this, I write a newsletter on LinkedIn, and I've written 4 issues all about AI and copyright, really meant to show all sides of the story and to spark conversation. So I'm going to move on, and I can answer more questions because, as you can see, it does take time for these things to generate. But let's go back and look at our videos. So first, let's go to our DID video. All right, let's see. Here we go.
Hello friends. I am here to teach you how to create a speaking avatar using DID. This is a very simple process that can be done using the DID software. First, you will need to create an account on the DID website. Once you have created your account, you will need to download the DID software, or you can access it on the web. Once you have downloaded the software, you will need to open it and click on the Create Video tool. Once you have clicked on the Create Video button, you will be able to see a list of available avatars. Select the avatar that you want to use and click on the Create Avatar button. Thank you for learning how to create a speaking avatar using DID.
Okay. So just everybody could see that, hear that. Yeah, it's a little wild. And there is something which we call the uncanny valley, which refers to the fact that when an avatar starts to look and feel really, really close to human, but not exactly, sometimes it does make us feel uncomfortable or a little bit revolted. So, really think about how you use this. Sometimes it can be used in a really humorous way. So I was actually hired by a company to develop a speaking avatar of a woman who was presenting at a conference, and she wanted to have a conversation with a virtual version of herself. She was wearing what one would normally wear to a business conference, and she was talking to her avatar that was wearing a red ball gown as if they were going to the Oscars. And we made it into kind of a comedy bit. And they would talk at different points during the conference. So it can be used for really entertaining ways. But I think the end goal with a lot of these softwares is that you could actually use it for training videos or educational purposes. I mean, it takes a lot to go into a studio and to record a video. And so, being able to script something is a lot easier and might be able to make a lot of educational materials more widely available to more people. So that is DID. Now, I want to show you within DID also how to make a video using your own avatar. So we did all of that work in Midjourney. Now we're going to go into DID again. And this time when we create the video, we're going to upload our own avatar. So I'm going to click on Add here, and then I'm just going to pick our headshot. Now, you notice in the last video that there was a lot of animation of that character, and that's partially because they really enhanced using like real cameras and real video, the ability to have them move their hands. That probably won't happen when we're looking at this video, what we're likely going to see is just animation of the face, but we might get some eye blinking and like more natural movements as well. So I'm going to just use a very short script, and this time I think that I'm going to do it with ChatGPT. So I'm going to bring up ChatGPT, and I'm working in GPT-4, which is the latest model, and I'm just going to say, write a monologue for an engineering student teaching me about computer vision. Okay, now I'm not going to read through this just in the interest of time, but as you can see, you can get really great scripts about all kinds of things. I love to teach myself how to do things using ChatGPT. I'm just going to cut this beginning part so that we have some text. I'm going to go back into DID. I'm going to paste that text here. Now, if I wanted to, I also could just do this with my own audio. I could record my own voice. I don't have to write a script. I just like write the script on the side. I read it, and then I have my own voice speaking. This time we are going to want and let's go back to our Hindi voice. Let's see. And let's see what our female character sounds like. All right.
Hey there. I'm so excited you've shown interest in computer vision. It's honestly one of the most fascinating and transformative fields in modern tech. Grab a seat and let's dive right in.
I think that sounds great. So we're going to go with that, and we'll generate this video and see how it works. Now, this also is going to take 3 credits. It's going to be about 38 seconds long. And I'm not going to give it a title now. You can always title it afterwards. Okay. So while that's thinking, I want to go back because we did have a video we generated using Gen 2, and I want to see how that is going. I will say, as I'm looking at it on the screen, it looks a bit funny, but you never know. All right, so I'm going to stop the screen and present. The reason I'm flipping back and forth is that my audio works best on my main screen, not on the second screen. So we are going back to, there we go. And let's play our video. So this is the one where we did the zoom in, right? And so you can see it's kind of taken our character and done a bit of distortion with the face, but you can see that it is moving and zooming in. All right, so this is just like a sneak peek of where the technology is going. All right, I'm going to come back now to my main screen, and I want to show you one last tool, and then I will open it up entirely for question and answer. So now I'm going to share with you another more sophisticated avatar tool. This is Synthesia. And Synthesia has been around a lot longer. And one of the things that they really are focused on is exactly that training video ability. So they were actually a predecessor to DID. Their videos take a lot longer to generate, and their avatars are in slide presentations. So it's really, really cool. And you can do a lot with it. You can build up to 6 slides at a time. And then you also can string those slides together. So you could bring those into a PowerPoint. You can go back and forth with PowerPoint. So if you have a PowerPoint template already generated, you can bring it into Synthesia and vice versa. And you can always like cut and paste the avatars and like move things around. But what I want to show you here is that we're going to start with a new video. And we can generate the video with AI. But this is going to be a lot more sophisticated and granular than DID. So we can start with a template. And so I'm going to go with this template here. And you can see there's a lot of like pre-designed slides, like very much what you would find in PowerPoint or Google Slides. I'm going to say our topic. So I'm going to say introduction to creating video using Synthesia. And the audience is going to be college students. And I can add more. I'm going to add language. So this is what I find so exciting. We can do this in any language. I am going to do it in Hindi. Now, you all are going to tell me whether or not it is anywhere near correct, because I don't speak Hindi and I cannot read anything that I'm going to be writing right now. I'm going to also give it a persona. So I'm going to give the persona as a college professor. And what the persona means is that that literally is the voice that the AI is going to be writing from. And excuse me, personas are actually a really important part of programming a large language model. It's a way similar to the way that we use words to narrow the field of noise. We're doing the same thing with a persona. When we tap into a persona, we tap into historic patterns of language use. And large language models basically are predictive models on steroids. What that means is that they just predict the next likely word in a sentence. And so they don't know what they're saying. They just know the frequency of words that we have used historically. So when I say college professor, it's going to look at only those examples in the training data of how a college professor speaks. And so that then will narrow that field of noise, and I will get something that is more precise to what I'm trying to do. So now I'm going to generate the video. And you can see I gave it very, very little. And it's going to develop a script slide by slide. Okay, now I want to see the comments. Is this anything? Does this make any sense? And I see you're asking for some other languages. I am not sure what languages are available here. I can go backwards and see, but I know that there is a huge effort to try and expand the number of languages, and specifically to expand into dialects, and actually to do this for many dialects that may not have been in popular use, but as a way of recording that. Okay, it totally makes sense. And I have to say, even if this were in English, again, I might go in and like make some corrections to the language. But I'm going to go now into the editor. So you can see that we have a teaching script in a very short period of time. And my editor will now allow me to go into each one of the slides and I could make adjustments to the language that's on the slide. I also can like move my person around. So if I didn't want them to be in that place, you know, it's basically like doing all of the graphic design that you would be able to do with any other program. I can always put a logo in here. On this slide, you can see this one has a quote. I can always pick a different quote. I can also replace the background, or I could totally change the layout of the slide and I could pick a different slide. And we have this one here. You can, again, replace the background media, and it will give me examples. So like here, there's some, you know, we can put her in front of a blue sky, or maybe some like funny seals, or possibly someone typing on a computer. Okay, so I now am going to generate this video. This will take, oh, I forgot to give it a voice. Here we go. Now that we've written in the correct language, I'm going to look for, and there are 3 Hindi voices, natural, original, and original 2. I'm going to go with natural, and I can listen to it.
नमस्कार स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम बात करेंगे एक नए और बहुत ही रोचक विषय पर, जिसका नाम है सिंथेसिया से वीडियो बनाना। आप सभी ने शायद ही कभी सुना हो इसके बारे में। क्या आप जानते हैं कि आप अपने कंप्यूटर या स्मार्टफोन का उपयोग करके एक प्रोफेशनल वीडियो बना सकते हैं? जी हाँ, आप सही सुन रहे हैं। और इसके लिए आपको किसी भी तरह का वीडियो एडिटिंग का ज्ञान नहीं होना चाहिए।
Okay, so I'm going to go with that one. I could try out the other 2. We also can have our person make gestures. So if we want their head to say yes, we can click on that. We can insert those gestures at different places in the script. So maybe at this point, we want them to have their eyebrows up, right? And again, these things are so new that I can only imagine that these are just going to get more and more sophisticated so that we can really have these characters moving and talking. The other thing here you can do here, you can also pause the same way that we kind of put time in the script before. And you can also fix diction. So if the word doesn't sound the way that you want it to, you can use a phonetic spelling in order to have it pronounced the correct way. And you also can change the timing of the speech, so you can make it shorter or longer. So in any case, just so that we can wrap up our class today and finish with some Q&A, I'm going to generate this video in the background. It's going to have me always select my voice for every, okay. And oh, apply new voice. There we go. I think I probably could have applied this to all of the slides. Okay. All right. Now, yes, we have our title, our default template. Okay. It's going to take 9 minutes to process, and that should probably bring us close to the end of our time together. Okay. So while it's doing that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and happy to take any questions. Can I share links of the tools used? Yes, absolutely. I see a question here. Can it sing a song? So the avatar can't sing a song, but you could record your own voice singing a song and have them sing. And you can record your own voice with either application. All right, I'm looking. Okay. Zeus, how long did it take to build this? To build the technology or to, and which technology are you speaking about? I will say that Synthesia has been, I think, in the works for about 5 years. So it's not a new company. They've been at it for quite a while. DID, I believe, is relatively new. With AI at an all-time high, what potential courses can we opt in to make a career in Nero AI? So I will say that a lot of the things that I am teaching right now, I have been learning within the past year. And so one of the things I would say is that the ability to kind of find applications and teach yourself. There are so many great videos, both on LinkedIn, on YouTube. And in fact, I think that most of the people that are doing this kind of thing on social media are way ahead of where faculty are in universities. There has been a lot of anxiety about what all of this means, and so I think people have been a little bit reticent to teach it in university. So I would say, like, go on YouTube and look it up and just start playing around. It is a lot of just experimentation, trying things out. As you can see, like, these are all very new tools and the developments change every week. So there's always something fresh. Can AI be used to create new scientific discoveries? Absolutely. And I think that's the reason why we're having some of these really tough ethical questions, because AI's ability to synthesize data across vast data fields, the potential there is just enormous. And to solve what we call wicked problems, problems that we have not been able to solve as humans, even AI was used in the development of the COVID vaccine. And, in a very rudimentary stage, like before we had GPT-4 or Llama or Claude or many of the models that exist now. So I think that's the hope that we all have, is that, beyond doing fun things with AI, that it really will help us to just expand our capacity as humans to solve really complex problems. Let's see. What challenges might arise when integrating virtual personas into real world applications? I think the one that I think about is really that uncanny valley. If you're really trying to make a serious presentation, people might get still caught up in the fact that the avatar hits that uncanny valley. And so you might not get the message across that you want to, because they are still too caught up in trying to figure out what's happening with the technology. Right. And so I think that is certainly one issue. Which instruments can be used for generating realistic facial expressions and body movements, specifically for the virtual person? So I have to say, behind the scenes, I know that there is a lot of modeling that happens and video that happens in order to train the model to be able to recognize hand gestures and eye movements, like in the same way that AI image generators are working. I can't speak to the specifics because most of the companies doing this are in stealth mode, but certainly there is a lot of training that happens in order to get them to then be able to interpolate or extrapolate with your text. And it really is just that one company, Synthesia, that I think has moved into doing hand motions. Everybody else is still just working with the face. How can we ensure diversity and inclusivity when creating virtual personas? Great question. This is a technology that starts out, as I said earlier, as being bias. And the bias is human bias and it's coded bias. Now, the good news is that over the year that I've been working with Midjourney, I have seen dramatic improvements. When I first started prompting, every time I would type in woman, I always got a white woman. Now, if I type in woman, I usually get a diverse woman. Also, if I typed in Indian woman, I would get a Native American woman, not someone from Southeast Asia. And this time I tried, before this class, both Indian, Hindi, and Southeast Asian, and I got all women who looked like they were from that part of the world. So I think it's getting better, but it's only getting better because we are part of the training. And in all of the applications, you can upvote or downvote the images that you get, and you are part of the training process. So if the images come back and they are biased, you should downvote them and you should explain why, because you're giving the developers then that ability to make changes. The other good news is that it's easier to correct bias in computers than it is to correct it in humans. So if we can see it, we can make the change, whereas with humans, a little bit more difficult.
Thank you so much, Laurie, for introducing us to this amazing side of AI. It really was an amazing session, and I'm sure that the participants enjoyed this mind blowing workshop as well.
Yes, it really was a wonderful session. We want you to open the floor for the questions that we have done already. So that is the last part. You want to explain something or show the video, right? So
let's
that and
let's show our video. Let's see how we did with Synthesia. Okay, here we go.
नमस्कार स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम बात करेंगे एक नए और बहुत ही रोचक विषय पर जिसका नाम है सिंथेसिया से वीडियो बनाना। आप सभी ने शायद ही कभी सुना हो इसके बारे में। क्या आप जानते हैं कि आप अपने कंप्यूटर या स्मार्टफोन का उपयोग करके एक प्रोफेशनल वीडियो बना सकते हैं? जी हाँ, आप सही सुन रहे हैं। और इसके लिए आपको किसी भी तरह का वीडियो एडिटिंग का ज्ञान नहीं होना चाहिए। सिंथेसिया एक ऐसा सॉफ्टवेयर है जो आपको ये सुविधा देता है। ये एक टेक्स्ट वीडियो सॉफ्टवेयर है, जिसका मतलब है कि आप अपने विचार या सोच को टेक्स्ट के रूप में लिख सकते हैं और सिंथेसिया उससे एक वीडियो में बदल देगा। ये सॉफ्टवेयर आपको एक प्रोफेशनल वीडियो एडिटर की तरह मदद करता है, बिना किसी पहले की जानकारी के। सिंथेसिया के साथ काम करना बहुत ही आसान है। आपको बस अपने विचार या बातें लिखनी है और सिंथेसिया उससे एक सुंदर और प्रभावशाली वीडियो में बदल देगा। आप इसे अपने प्रोजेक्ट प्रेजेंटेशंस, एजुकेशनल वीडियोस या किसी भी तरह की क्रिएटिव वीडियो बनाने के लिए उपयोग कर सकते हैं। तो क्या आप तैयार हैं अपनी पहली सिंथेसिया वीडियो बनाने के लिए? आने वाले सेशंस में हम डिटेल में जानेंगे कि कैसे हम सिंथेसिया का उपयोग करके एक प्रोफेशनल वीडियो बना सकते हैं। आप सभी से उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आप इस जर्नी को एंजॉय करेंगे। धन्यवाद।
All right. That is the end.
I appreciate all of your inquiries, Laurie. I appreciate your thoughtful answers. It was such a beneficial session.
There are few more questions in the chat box. If you would like to answer them, or we can go further.
Yeah, I'm happy to, as long as you have more time. And I can,
Why not?
yeah, what I would suggest is that after the session, I'll send the organizers a list of all of the applications, and they can send you all of the links if you want to try it yourself. The lips matching the voice, I think some of that may be a delay between where I am in the world and where you are in the world. But sometimes if they're a little bit off, just run it again. Because or break it up into smaller chunks. So like you do one slide at a time. It gives you a little bit more control. You can also like change the speed. I would say Synthesia is usually a little bit better than DID in terms of like matching the mouth to the words. Let's see. Any upcoming features or developments? It's so hard because we sometimes get beta tests, but most of these applications are being released in beta and we don't know what's coming next. So the best way to kind of keep up on this stuff is really to just stay on top of social. There's a great learning community on what was formerly known as Twitter. There's a great learning community on LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn seems kind of fuddy-duddy, but I tell you, like, there are really amazing creators who are out there. So it's worth it. And especially if you're going to be entering the job market, get your account now because it's a great way to find a job. And then, I'm sure like on TikTok and Instagram as well.
Thank you, Laurie. Your pioneering work in the field of generative AI and commitment to guiding the direction of academic programs in this area are really, really amazing. I appreciate all your contributions.
Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me.
We'd like to express our gratitude to our sponsors for their support, starting with HP, our technical sponsor. HP is an American multinational information technology company headquartered in Palo Alto, California, that develops personal computer printers and printed suppliers. Our streaming partner is StreamYard. On StreamYard platform, you may broadcast over social networks directly from your browser. Before choosing the premium plans to gain access to more features, it provides a free option that you may test out.
Now we will have a small question and answer quiz session based on the workshop. The link of the quiz will be shared in the chat box. To participate in the quiz.
Stay connected for other track updates on WhatsApp group and do visit our Instagram and YouTube page as well. Thank you for being such a great audience. We wish you all the luck for your upcoming endeavors and hope to see you in our next session. Kindly do participate in the quiz, as the quiz knowledge will be assessed from tomorrow's session. We will paste the quiz link in the comment section.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Have a great day.